Hi angels, welcome back to my channel. I am Jashira, an Akashic Records reader, palm reader, and an incarnated angel. So today I'm going to talk about higher level spirit guides and what they may ask for you. I did talk about this a bit in my video about lower level spirit guides called Are You Working with Lower Level Spirits Unbeknownst to You? But I was inspired to make this separate video after watching another video from Adunola the Oracle, which talks about higher level spirit guides, altars, and other things relating to that. If you want to go check out her video, I'll leave the link below. It's a very good one, and she comes from the perspective of someone who practices Ifa and works with Orishas, if I'm not mistaken. I, on the other hand, will speak from the perspective of being an incarnated angel. So, early on in my spiritual journey, when I was first researching and taking it all in, I was introduced to the altar. It seemed like every other spiritual person was making videos about altars and the importance of having one. At the time, I couldn't have an altar because I was living with my parents, but that wasn't what bothered me necessarily. Looking back, what really bothered me was that I felt as if these people making altar videos were pushing the viewer to have an altar and to make offerings to their spirit guides. Some of them, I felt, even spoke in threatening or demanding voices whenever they talked about the offerings. That really threw me off. And even though I wanted to have the experience of having an altar and I wanted to be respectful to my guides, I felt myself slowly lean away from making my own altar. Another thing that started to throw me off were the 10,000 requirements to build an altar in the first place. While it's true that a lot of people always said that you should build your altar with what you have available already in your house or in nature, there were others who went down the rabbit hole of correspondences for each spirit, if it was a well known spirit like a deity or an archangel or something like that. And then they warned you that if you don't do this, dot dot dot, the spirit will be mad and they will curse you or you will have a very bad experience, dot dot dot, or something like that. I really didn't want to get cursed or have a spirit mad at me, so I kept postponing making an official altar. Also, the fact that for every season or holiday you would have to redecorate it differently, you would have to keep it clean constantly, you would have to make sure that nobody else touches it. You were expected to regulate the energies around it, even if you couldn't control said energies. And, that was too much for me. Also, it really wasn't my experience, it really wasn't my truth. Because, as I mentioned in my other video, my experience was that my spirit guides wanted me to heal, learn, live my life to the fullest, and teach by example. First and foremost, they wanted me to experience life and enjoy it. In fact, in many of my readings, done by myself or readings that I got from other people, my spirit guides almost always told me that by finding my joy and living my life to the fullest, I will come into abundance and be fulfilling my destiny. Up until this point, my guides have never asked me for an offering other than for me to offer them my pains, my struggles, my sorrows. Never have they asked me for food, for trinkets, for crystals, statues, or anything of the kind. All they have ever wanted me to do was to get out there and live, to get out of my comfort zone and be free. I still remember one time when I was getting a reading and Bastet showed up. Her message was that she didn't want anything from me except for me to enjoy my relationships and just enjoy love. So, having my experience be very different from what other people were, professing or talking about was very strange to me. I felt very confused for a very long time. It wasn't until later that I realized that there were different quote unquote ranks of spirit guides, and the ranks were something like this. They went something like this. Some spirit guides were more connected, you could say also bound to the third dimension and the earth, and they hadn't ascended. Some were lost souls or baneful spirits, demonic spirits that wanted to harm people. Some spirit guides had ascended but stuck around to take care of their loved ones, and other spirit guides were angelical energies like Mother Mary, the archangels, and guardian angels, among others. I learned that the spirit guides that were more connected to the third dimension and the planet, as well as the lost souls or demonic spirits, always asked for offerings in order to get or to suck the energy of organic things and people. The ascended spirit guides, the deities, and the angelic souls, on the other hand, don't need any type of offerings, as they receive energy directly from source. So they don't need to suck energy out of anything. They have everything they need as a spirit and only want to help their charges. So here I'm going to again reference Adunola the Oracle. On a part of her video where she says something along the lines of that people and spirits can change and no longer be in the same wavelength. And I agree. You could shift and no longer be in the same wavelength as your previous guides. And your guides could shift and no longer be in the same wavelength as you. In these cases, you might find it difficult to communicate with each other, and eventually you would have to let go of that specific spirit guide. And this is another thing that I learned along my journey, and that is that not all spirit guides will be with you for the entirety of your life. Some are with you for a specific reason, some for a specific season of your life, some for a specific, I guess you could call it mission, and only a few will remain with you for the rest of your life and even after death. If you realize that you feel that you no longer require the assistance of a specific guide, that you don't want to have an altar nor give offerings anymore, or feel like you don't need to, or even if your own spirit guides are telling you that you don't need to do any of that stuff anymore, it's okay. This just means that you are at another stage of your life that requires you to focus on creating an altar or a temple out of your own life. So, listen to your guides, listen to your intuition as they guide you in this new stage of your life and spiritual journey. It will be alright, don't worry. And also, if you've never really had the urge to have an altar or give offerings, that is completely fine as well. Take it from someone who was very confused that felt like I was the only one that her spirit guides were telling her not to make an altar or give offerings. It's gonna be alright. Okay? So I hope this helps. Thank you so much for listening. If you want a reading with me, I will leave the links down below for that reading. Remember, I am an Akashic Records reader. I also do palm readings. And for the Akashic Records, I usually use my pendulum, just so you know. So thank you. And I'll see you on my next video. Angelic blessings. Bye.